everyone, this is DWS Darius, and right now you're looking at my backyard pond. So for those of you who follow my channel, you know that every year I like to add tropical fish from my fish tanks into my pond for the summer months. I think it's like a little vacation for them because it's just so awesome being in a pond. The pond is 11 feet long, the deepest part is almost 4 feet deep, so there's just so much space for them to explore. And on top of that, if the fish likes algae, there's an all-you-can-eat buffet of algae all over the walls, all over the rocks, and just it's really a good experience for tropical fish to be able to spend so much time in a natural environment, natural light, just so much space. So that's kind of like my way of giving some of my fish a vacation. I've been doing it for several years now. I first started with a common Pleco. I added this Pleco, he was 2 to 3 inches. 2 months later I pulled him out, he was 7 to 8 inches. I do have video of it, but that's when I was making videos with a flip phone, so the quality isn't the greatest, but you can still see the growth of the Pleco in that video. I'll leave a link in this video. But yeah, I've been doing it since then. 1 year I added African cichlids and they did awesome. I saw improvements in color and in size. Last year I added some amphilophus, some red devils and mighty cichlids. They bred for me, and then I was left with hundreds of them when I pulled them out in September. This year I tried to do it a little bit different. I added a lot of Plecos. I added 4 bristlenose Plecos, 3 albino, 1 chocolate. I added 1 royal Pleco. I added 1 Tropheus du Bois African cichlid, and I added my tinfoil barb, who's been like a common visitor to the pond every season because he's so similar to the koi. But yeah, I added them to the pond with hopes to see some massive growth on the Plecos and to see just my Tropheus du Bois color up a little bit more, being that these are primarily algae eaters. And I also wanted to see my tinfoil barb grow a bit, but things didn't go according to plan, meaning that these fish aren't playing nice when it comes to catching them back out the pond. So today is September and the temperatures are dropping. Last night was in the low 50s, and every night it gets pretty low, and you know that's pretty dangerous for these tropical fish, but catching them is not easy. I've been trying to catch these fish now for the last few weeks, and they definitely are playing hard to get. So here's a look at the first attempt at me trying to catch these fish. So I decided it would be best just to go ahead and get into the pond, just because I would literally be on top of the fish. I already knew where the Plecos were hiding because I created a little rock cave for them in the shallow part. So I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I had it all planned and just ready to go. When I started picking up the rocks with the Plecos under them, these Plecos were just extremely fast, and that pond was extremely slippery, so I didn't want to fall. So they made me extremely slow, and it ended up being a waste of 3 hours. I just spent in circles trying to catch these fish. I was only able to catch one because that one, I picked up the rock that he was under and he just stayed on a rock, and I was able to scoop him up like that. But all the rest just darted around me, and that day was just a waste. I recorded the whole process. Originally I was going to upload it as just me playing around, but it was just too embarrassing. So what I did end up doing was catching some of the koi just to give you guys a size reference, because those are some of the biggest fish in a pond. And I also managed to catch the tinfoil barb out of the pond. After that first failure, I followed up with a few more minor failures. I came like every day trying to catch my trophies to boy-sized cichlid, who usually spends his days in the shallow part grazing on algae. But once he figured out I was trying to catch him, he was always 2 steps ahead of me. I would come and try to sneak up on the pond, and he would dart to the deep part where there was just so much equipment and so much decorations. He was always able to maneuver around the net. I also tried coming at night where I thought I had an advantage because I didn't have to worry about shadows created by the sun. I was able to use a flashlight or a lamp to try to see the pond fully without having to worry about any dark spots. But even with that, the Plecos still were extremely fast. They were still extremely smart. They knew just all these different hiding places to go, and that also ended up being a failure. So my last attempt to catch these fish out of the pond was to create a bottle trap. I showed you how to make one of these in a different video. You can find that video in the link above. But I made a bottle trap from a 2-liter bottle, and this was my second source of success in catching these fish. I laid the trap down and it sat for a couple of days. I was able to see the end of it to see if anything was caught without having to actually dig into it. I added some algae wafers into it, and a couple of days later I found my female bristlenose pleco. She's 2 of 5 plecos that still need to be caught, but that is definitely a good way to break that losing streak. Okay everyone, so here we are, and today is September 12th, and the situation is still the same. I only caught 2 of the 5 plecos in this pond, so there are 3 more in this pond, 2 bristlenose plecos and 1 royal pleco. I also have my trophies to boy-sized cichlid, which, as I said before, he likes to spend his days over here grazing, and as soon as I came out here I saw him dart to the deep part. So that's still the situation that I'm in. So as of now, I'm still going to try to use that bottle trap. You probably can't see it too well, but I'm going to try to use the bottle trap because that's like the only thing that's working for me right now. And if that doesn't work, maybe late September I'll drain the pond and I'll see if we can catch them that way. But YouTube, this is a lesson learned. I will never again add bristlenose plecos. 1, because they really don't grow too fast. If you look at the size of these bristlenose plecos when they came out the pond, it really wasn't a big difference, and that's because I believe bristlenose plecos just grow so slow. So I won't be adding bristlenose plecos anymore, and I definitely won't be adding small African cichlids like this Tropheus the boy-sized cichlid. So YouTube, that was just a little lesson learned. I've been tossing tropical fish in this pond yearly with no problems, and now I face all these problems because these fish are just smart. They don't want to leave the pond, but it's going to be cold pretty soon, and it's going to be pretty stressful for them if they don't come out before the cold comes. So YouTube, tell me what you think about this situation. If you have any ideas as far as how I could get the rest of these plecos out of this pond, please let me know. Thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.